we had first a plan for this evening. I don't know if you saw, Anna. Laura and Taaye, they prepared a PechaKucha.
Great. I did not, so I'm
So that
excited.
was the resolution. And
Excellent.
while we were discussing about with Mo, we were discussing about it, and I think because there's one thing is to do it, and then how to publish it, where to publish it for us, and we were thinking to gather them maybe by 5 or separately, and then keeping them on a page, maybe on the YouTube channel, the official one, and then on a page on the website to show people of the team, and everyone could Mo is telling hero cards.
Yeah, I was thinking about like sometimes in a computer game or in a, I don't know, a theatrical or like more dramatic arts. For each character, you have like the facts, you have the introduction, the mini, spin around and bio. So I was thinking maybe for each person in the community to do this PechaKucha video so they can get to know each other like before joining, or like when someone's new or even outside of the community can know who is in the community to like propose a project or work together, so that we can spread the words and not just keep it within ourselves. And just to publish it, because each PechaKucha is like 5 minutes, so it's kind of it's too long for a short, it's too short for a long. So that's why I'm thinking to have it combined after 3, 4, 5 videos to group together and then make a publication maybe every half a year, every semester or trimester, so that we can publish like PechaKucha of a project, of a specific pitching of a project. But for self-introduction, biography style, it's better to do it on the website so people can like browse who is in the community, who is active, and something like that.
I have an idea suddenly, because I was thinking like, we can all do PechaKucha, but there's only so many of us. But what if like, Mo invited one of the artists that you're with right now and come in to do a PechaKucha?
Yes, the only problem is English language. For example, the whole room next to me, there are like 6 people, but none of them speak English. So that's the only thing, is language. But of course, if someone who speaks some English, not like simultaneous, not so like spontaneous, like so great in English, then this person with some careful preparation, I can invite other people who are outside of the community who I know or who are interested, for example, who wrote to me, oh, please, I propose this project. Can you help me with this and that? I receive this kind of email every week. So I can say, there's the instruction, there's the example of PechaKucha. You can prepare this. You can come in for a guest speaking PechaKucha, or they can pre-record their PechaKucha if they are in a different time zone that is impossible to be here. We can like play that PechaKucha video 5 minutes. So that would work as well, like to invite outsiders to do PechaKucha, basically. That's what you mean, no?
Yes.
I think it's a good idea. Then maybe each of us do a PechaKucha biography so that other people can know who we are, so that then it also encourages them to come in because they see it's done many times. They have good examples and they can feel more at home doing this, I think.
Yes.
I love all of those ideas. I think that it's a great way to communicate in a condensed amount of time and connect with people. And it is different. I know we talked in the past of like just getting on each other's websites and reading or following each other on Instagram, but there's something different about it that I think is effective in a different way. So I love the idea of just brainstorming ways to use them once we have them.
Make it a thing so other people can introduce themselves and we can make it more like a regular format rather than like a one-time like trial. So it's here to stay, right? So
then it's with the idea it can touch more people than the people of the community. So I think there's a bit of marketing approach in that. I think it's not really good to share doubts weaknesses. Maybe weaknesses if they are in the storytelling, but there's a bit of control of what you are emitting there, because we have also gallerists who have viewers among the art business in the seller point, and if you are sharing with sincerity everything, maybe you could close some doors. Because the first idea was to do intimistic content, but I think in this way it should be more like communication approached.
In that line, you might decide to tell me, I'm not like dishing out a whole bunch of intimate details in mine, but I did make it in mind for this group only.
Yeah.
And so I will kind of rethink it. And if I need to revise it and record it and submit a polished up one or slightly different, I can do that.
Same, because I put mine together over New Year's Eve. So
yeah, I was also thinking, we were talking between me and Greg, is that maybe we can do a pre-recorded, polished like version, so that you can use a PowerPoint to record. You know that there's a function. You can also do it with different apps to export the final format HD, so that we can use the HD file, a video link, or embed it in the website itself. And it's totally fine to do like maybe the first version here within the group, so you get feedback, and then you do the official one, and then we publish it on the website or on the well, you can also publish on your own social media channel. That's also a thing, like on your own place to introduce yourself as a part of another video as well. There are a lot of possibilities, but yeah, to have a different recording, definitely separately, it will work. It's just 5 minutes. It's not like it's gonna take too much more time to do it.
And one last thing is a question about it is, maybe it would be better to make it vertical and not horizontal. I don't know, because if it's more like a card, like for sharing, it's better.
No, because PechaKucha is PowerPoint. PowerPoint are usually horizontal for the app native, the PowerPoint application.
Yeah.
So usually
it's not a way to spread content. To spread content is social media, and social media is vertical.
Social media is vertical, except for so if it's over 10 minutes, definitely horizontal on YouTube. If it's vertical, it's up to 3 minutes as a vertical format with YouTube Shorts. If it's under 3 minutes, totally vertical, I agree 100%. But if it's 5 minutes with a possible someone delaying it to 6 with a 1 minute grace period, as Laura was mentioning to me in the email, I would say if it's a little longer, like let's say 5 to 10 minutes, it's closer to 10, it's not closer to 3. Then it's better long format. That's what I was thinking.
Well, what do you think
about the horizontal vertical thing?
Yeah.
Well, I now that Mo mentioned that, that's a really good point. Like for social media posting, it would be better for it to be vertical. However, the content is longer than typical social media posting allows. So it is, I think, something to consider. Although you could just put like a segment and then a link to a.
Oh, we could shorten it to 6 to 3 minutes.
No, that would be really hard.
Laura was just saying that so she can do it in 6,
Yeah, it could. We could all do 3 minute things, but you'd have to really think of it in a different way. It would be a different purpose.
Okay, so horizontal 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm ready to listen.
Laura, would you like to go first, or?
I don't have any preference, so if you have a preference, please say.
Do you want to do?
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors. Okay.
Yes.
What?
Okay. Wait, I can't see your hand. I can't see your hand. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
How do I send you? Should I? Because I'm on my iPad, and I tried on my iPad yesterday. didn't work. It's one. Could I send it to one of you and then?
No, I tell you, it works very, very well.
Really?
Yesterday, we went through 1 hour with Laura to do the technical things. So first of
Really?
all, on your iPad, yes, we
Mhm.
went through the whole thing. First, on your iPad, you need to be on the app, the Meet app, the Google Meet app, not the browser. If you go on the browser, there's no share screen, or there are
Okay.
limited functions. You need the app.
Okay.
That's number
I'm
one.
on the app right now.
Okay, if you're on the app, you click on the little dot, the 3 point, and if your app is more or less up to date, if you haven't updated it in 1 year, maybe it's a problem. But otherwise, lower you have the broadcast screen, and on the
Right,
broadcast
no.
screen you can share the whole screen, including your own notifications, which means including your own private email, iMessages, and other
Oh, shit.
things. That's why usually in the beginning there's the like a warning, like are you sure to broadcast your screen like 3 times? You know.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
I know this part works, but I tried it on because this is Google Slide. Like usually when I'm on my desktop, there's a function that you can like. There's a function that you can click to make this 20 seconds. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, you can make it with timing. It's okay
Yeah.
without timing because your total constraint is the 5 minutes in total. And
Okay.
what I will do is I will show a timer on my
Mhm.
side. So in case I would tell after it's 5 minutes, and then I would have a dead 6 minute stop. So it's,
Okay.
you can have between 5 and 6 basically.
Okay.
5
Can
minutes.
you guys see
Yeah.
my screen?
Yeah.
I practiced it yesterday, so I shouldn't go overboard too much. Let me
Every
see your
30
face.
seconds, I will do the. What? It doesn't know. Yeah.
Oh shit! There's a.
That's going to be disruptive.
No.
Okay.
No, you read at 5 minutes. You read at 5 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Sharp.
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise it's
Wait,
very loud.
hold
We were
on,
having
hold on.
this conversation.
All right, here we
Okay,
go.
so just to be clear before you
I
start,
can
Greg
show.
is gonna ring the timer at 5 minutes, and then you know that you have a minute or less to finish, and then he's gonna
Okay.
ring it 3 times at 6 minutes, and that is like when we stop talking.
When I'm done. Okay.
Okay,
But
Okay,
how
cool.
do
Thank
you
you,
know you
Laura.
have? How do you know you have 30 seconds?
we
It's-
just keep up
Uh,
with that ourselves.
Yeah, we just
Okay.
keep up with that ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you
Okay.
practice ahead of time, you kind of know, like, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
about 20 seconds on this slide and about 40 seconds on that slide.
Exactly.
And we'll just
Yeah.
kind of see if it works.
Yeah. Thank you, Laura. Okay, here we go. Okay. So hi everyone. As you know, I am an artist that is based currently in Vancouver, and I kind of want to take today to talk to you, everyone, about what I do and the reasons behind why I do what I do and the journey that I've taken behind what I do. As I might have mentioned to some of you or all of you before, I was actually born in Hong Kong, and I've lived there for about 15 years, and since then I've been living in North America for about 20 years. So now you know my age. And so in North America, I spent about 20 years living between the West Coast and the East Coast, and also the Midwest, actually. So I spent 4 years in Rhode Island studying Residency, and then 4 years working in Michigan. So there was a long period of time, as you can see, I was moving between the 2 continents and 3 countries a lot. In fact, there's about 4 to 5 years where I had to move constantly every single 3 months. So I would say my art is a lot about just about like Asian women living overseas, having all these experience in general. So before I go into my art, I want to give you a little guys about my backgrounds before I went back into my art. I actually was studying at Residency to be a product designer. So I worked for a long time as a physical product designer. I design chairs, I design cars, I design event, etc., etc. And that is to say that I have a very good understanding of materialities and general manufacturing processes. So I worked about 8 years as a product designer, but it was starting to get very stale to me. One thing that I learned from my Residency experience was that was how to appreciate materiality and how to really work with different types of materials. But as a designer, I didn't feel like I was getting that. I felt like we were just doing a box and then snapping whatever materials that was on it. And that was I felt like that was very against my principle of what good art or design is. And one thing that I learned from my dad and also from my experience in Residency and later in Japan was the appreciation for traditional craft. I actually spent about 3 months in Japan taking classes from traditional craftsmen, and I just love it. I just love the fact that someone dedicated 30 years or 40 years into something that they get really good at. And there's always something about working with materials that with your hands that are so grounded to me, that's something that I felt like I cannot get from working with a computer, for example. So when I got back into working with my own art, I was thinking about how could I tell story, not just from a composition point of view, but also how could I tell story starting from the material, from the material level. So as you all know, or as some of you know, I started with watercolor, moved on to printmaking, and recently for the past 1 year, I've been working with this material called East Asian mineral pigments, which is a traditional craft in both Japan and China. In 2024, last year, actually 2 years ago, not last year, in 2024, supported by Canada Council, I was able to go to Taiwan to really learn the craft, to learn how to use the pigments, to learn how to use how to make the binders, etc., etc. I had a really good time, and I came back and I just absolutely love it. First of all, I love colors, and so the extensiveness of how many original pigments I can work with, it's amazing to me. The variety of textures that you can get to, and the crazy combination of different materials. As you can see on the image on the right, there's 5 different types of binder that you need to learn, and combine what they all each do different things, and you can mix in with like foils and burnishing foil and like different types of textures and surfaces, and it's a whole extensive of universe to me that it's very, very fascinating. I am putting this image here instead of just my work like in a oh shit, there's someone in it. I'm putting this close-up shot here just because I know that sometimes with computer and Instagram it's really hard to see the work in close-up. So hopefully this image shows you better what it looks like, what the work looks like in person, and shows you some of the really sculptural elements to the work. The other thing I really love about this pigment especially is the cultural connotation. So Mo would know this. There's a traditional fable in Chinese that has to do with Uyghur that I don't have time to go into, but if you want, I can go into it later. So looking into the future, what do I want to do? I think I want to continue exploring what it means by using natural pigments. Mineral pigment is one thing, and and the Asian has their own tradition, but obviously Italian has their own tradition, French, American, etc., etc. So I like to expand on that. I also have some opportunities for the past 1.5 or 2 years to really work with some really good galleries in Vancouver locally, in Hong Kong. So I would like to continue with that, and hopefully I can. My goal is to bring my practice to an international or global level, to really kind of keep talking about my story and keep connecting with people. And I'm done.
Good.
Yay!
Yay! Yay! I had like 4 seconds left, right?
6 minutes 30.
Wait, I was over 30 seconds.
It's you're over 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Oh, damn it.
Right.
Yeah.
I loved it. Very, very wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Usually there's something like 10 minutes we can ask questions. We have 10 minutes to talk about it.
Or
the proposal. Or
no, the 10 minutes can also be to give feedback, because
Yeah,
she's doing it for the first time, to give feedback which part of the story is more interesting than other part, so that she could keep it neater for the final presentation to go on the final publication. That's what could also be. I mean, the 10 minutes can be repurposed, so we can just go, you know?
The map, the slide with the map, I might have been, I didn't like time it myself, but it might have been like up the longest. So if you are trying to condense it, you might kind of reflect on what all you said during that one, because that seemed, you were like trying to get your momentum and get into the groove, and that one lasted a really long time and probably ate up the things you said. I found to be very helpful for me to know, but that would probably be an opportunity to condense.
Okay.
So that you have a little more time
at the end. Yeah.
I was gonna say the same, but maybe what you say is not what you show is better. That you don't show and say the same thing, because, for example, you say there is a list of countries that I've lived. Then you put the list. You don't have to go through it, right? Then you are saving your time. So if you say those are the countries I've lived, so you don't have to name one by one, except for the one you're living and the one you were born in the middle. Like, for example, Japan. You lived in Japan. You don't need to read each part, and then you just, maybe I was thinking because the map is quite empty, you can put one or a few photos, a key moments in your life, like where you're born is a photo of your kid, and so that you can add more information where you stayed on the slide longest, and also to skip on the telling what's already shown on the screen part to save time.
Got it.
And I loved hearing about your time at RISD and product design. And but it might have taken longer than the second half of that's more about the work you're doing now. So don't eliminate it, because I think it's crucial to understanding who you are as an artist. But, and I liked hearing like kind of why that wasn't fulfilling for you, why it pushed you to make that turn into the art you're making. But I think it could be shorter, so that the art you are making gets more time.
Got it.
Yeah, I think because the time pressure, the 5-minute ding, maybe she was rushing into, I mean, if we gave her time, she would have a lot more to tell about her current work and future plans. I'm thinking you mentioned risks at different points. In the beginning, where you stayed, and then where you trained with product design. And then like you reflect going back and forth. So maybe you mention, not in the beginning, you only mention at education, so you don't have to mention it several times. I mean, it's a very good school. If I went there, I would mention it as many times as I could. But in time management, the problem is that you had been mentioning it several times. That took more time. So maybe you don't say in the first slide about where you lived, but then what you did, product design, is because of wrist, and then you say wrist product design in one chunk, so that you compress those two into one big moment, and then you go maybe to the why not fulfilling, moving into art early on, so that you can just brush that chapter and turn the page.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and I think that
let me write this down actually.
You talked about the formal aspects of your art, but you didn't get to content, and you referred to, you know, my experiences as an Asian woman in, you know, North America, and then we didn't get, well, what happened, you know, like how does that reflected in your work? And so we're left hanging a little bit on that,
which could be good in a way.
Yeah, we're curious. That's good.
Yay.
Yeah, you have 3 movements in your foundation. You have the trip, you have the design, and you have the parent, the craft. So the 2 design work and the craft aspect could be used against you as weakness, but in art. So, oh, she's a craft person, or she's a designer, and but then you use it as a foundation for your work. So it's it's something that is really good because it's support for your life. And then we were waiting to see what you're doing from that. But it's really good because if you put that on the table, people, they won't be able to tell that against you or to not to take it against you, because it's really the foundation of your work.
You mean like the design and the craft and then the art part? Like,
Yeah, so the 鄙视链, no, usually in contemporary art, if you're from minority, person of color, female, textile artist, ceramic artist, the craft person, designer. So that could be all like the counter points to deduct from someone who is very bourgeois, from, very high-end art society. But on the other hand, all the things you mentioned contribute to your current work and is a story of your life. And plus, everything you did, for example, design or work, you have done it to the level of highest level of professionalism. Like, you didn't self-teach design. You went to the best school in, North America for design. Therefore, I don't think people would criticize. They would criticize someone who is self-taught in, in craft, but not like the fact that you can show that the strength, the glorious in your CV. I don't think, that is a deduction point. It's used well.
Yeah.
I'm writing this down. So
learning from masters all the way in Japan and Taiwan. That's serious. Like you're learning from masters. So I think I agree with what Mo was saying. It's definitely can be emphasized and impressive.
I'm writing this down, so it's not like I'm typing. I'm typing, but I'm writing this down.
We didn't think you were just texting friends.
Okay, cool.
We are your friends. Text us. I think maybe learning from masters is a good point Laura brought. If you went all the way there to learn from the original masters, maybe you can show more picture of you with the masters, or can show, if you learn from different masters, you can show different collage of. Laura had a good idea to show it with a slideshow. We did a slideshow. Well, I don't know if you changed that.
I took it all out. I took it all out. I totally cheated.
Because she's like, okay, we only have 10 slideshows, so let me think we can put a slideshow within the slideshow. So she was like, flip through the
they might not know
animation.
What I did.
Yeah, but you can make collage of little pictures of composed. No, the subject is showing visually old masters of your craft journey in the same slideshow to bring more visual to the story.
And about that in storytelling, how you make the difference between a liar and someone who's telling his story is when you have precise names or precise. It could be very short, but if you can add something that can be verified and you are proud of, that will give trueness in your story. Otherwise, it could be just a generated story.
You mean like names of artists or names that you work with?
Masters or
like in the trip, for example, the trip, who has sponsored you the trip, maybe a logo of that foundation, and where you went, the trip of where you went, and you working there with a big white shot of clearly you're in the old temple or something, and then the master, maybe you don't say the name, but you show the name of the master on the screen. So it's almost like you are doing accounting to the foundation to justify where you have been and what you have done, almost like that,
It's like at the end, if you show your work and you tell I'm working with pigments, and then we talked about that. But then if you tell I'm working with this Persian pigment I found there, and you tell the name, it takes 10 seconds more, and then it gives poetry and truth on. Because people who are making up stories in general, they are flying over the subject. I know you have 5 minutes, but if you give just one name, it gives all the salt to the story.
Okay.
Because you have really good stories to start with. Now it's not really, we are not talking about how to change the story. It's better present it, condense it, highlight it, reorganize it in a way. But what all the content you have spoken is good content, just to package it for the time constraints. The time constraint is the biggest constraint. If it's not that, then yeah, go on and on, no problem. It's all good stuff.
Okay, we have 10 minutes.
Now
Okay.
we move on to Laura.
Laura.
Y'all ready for some fast talking? Here we go.
Yes, we are ready.
Okay, I'm sharing the screen now. Hopefully it will work. It's taking just a moment.
Yeah, we don't count in the time.
Thanks. Yeah, it's taking longer than it did yesterday to share the screen. It's just kind of thinking.
It's because it's connecting to everyone. I think it takes more time.
Okay.
Also, maybe different windows open.
Hmm.
You know, the app is maybe the iPad is also a bit older iPad. Maybe it's like maybe more than 3 years iPad.
I do know where the
no.
power button is on the iPad. I do turn the iPad off regularly, just so you know. Do you think I should stop it and try to start it again?
Yes. Yeah.
Because that seemed kind of stuck. Let me try again. It's thinking.
Yeah, so yesterday we did this and it worked, so don't worry, it will work. And now you can go to the slideshow. Now we can see your screen. We can see ourselves and yeah, everything. Perfect.
Okay, stop.
So it's working. Okay. So are we starting? All right, so I just have an initial slide here just outlining what's coming. I'm going to go over some background, grad school, show you examples of work, and then current work and goals for this year. And my hope with this presentation is that we get to know each other better. Possibly it will lead to introductions, maybe exhibit opportunities, and I'd like to hear your perceptions about the work. So as far as background, I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, but before, in my early childhood, my dad was in the Navy. We moved all over the country, and then we went back to Arkansas. So once I was 18, I went off to college in Florida. I minored in art, and once I graduated, I moved back to Arkansas, started working in advertising and marketing, but every night for hours, I was obsessed with ceramics and pottery making. So advertising and marketing during the day, pottery at night. Over about 16 or 17 years, I made thousands of pieces of pottery, so much that I injured my arm and had to quit and go back to painting and drawing, which I had kind of longed to do for years. And all during that time, I got married and had 2 children as well. So when I injured my arm and was painting and drawing, after a while, I decided to apply to grad school. And that bottom left picture is at my grad presentation and final show. The images above that picture are commission pieces that I did that paid for grad school in addition to being having a job at the university as a teaching assistant. And the pieces on the right are paintings from grad school where I started to get really interested in painting the female figure and kind of a removal of information, studying how we perceive each other. So I did that for a couple of years, but then the work took a big turn, as you may notice. I realized this slide is very crowded, but it symbolizes how I kind of went berserk, making political work. Donald Trump was running for president here in the US, and I was really disturbed by the language that he was using and more disturbed by the cultural response to that language, that people seemed to like him. So I just continued to make paintings and drawings and collage work and image transfer work to help me process what I was hearing in our culture. So, but that was kind of depressing. And so I kind of started to toggle between more traditional paintings where I was focusing on the figure. Like that top row was a museum series where I took photos for years, really, of people in museums and did a group of 38 paintings based on those scenes. Then I would go back to the political work for a while. So there's one in the middle here that says red, white, and blue. And that just illustrates how I was focusing on how to use the materials to represent an idea. So the word blue is intentionally falling off the bottom of the page. And those little black things are image transfers of Supreme Court chairs. And then that bottom row is just me looking around the house painting things during COVID. So moving right along, now we're in 2022 to 2024. I'm still using language in the work, but I'm trying to combine it with my love of figure painting and drawing, and ended up having a show at the Wingate School of Art and Design here in Little Rock called Words Create Reality. Those bottom left pieces, there's not figurative work in those. That's just an exploration of legibility and our perception of words, and how in a cultural landscape that's quickly changing, language changes too. So I was really thinking about all of those things. And then continuing on with the figurative work along the top, focusing on the female, that piece that's yellow in the middle has a computer screen that you can't really read from here, but it says equal pay. And so I'm still kind of sneaking in some language into these pieces, whether it be handwriting, stenciling, or collage, like there's some collage there on the right. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is the bottom left corner are some island paintings. I have a relationship with a gallery in the Bahamas, and that has really been a steady source of income for me. So over the years, about twice a year, I send a collection of paintings to that gallery. And it's really important to me, even though it's very different work from all the other work I've shown you. It's important to me because it's about a place I love, but hopefully this isn't crass to say, it's because it provides income for me. And then here, there's a few more Bahamian, I hear that, paintings on the top right corner. And the bottom illustrates work I did at Very Private Gallery in Madrid in the spring, where I'm really focusing on sexist systems. And I used magazine, the format and composition of magazine covers to kind of hold information that addresses sexist issues and sometimes offers solutions in that work. And then this is the very current work, combining, again, traditional materials with oil painting with language. And finally, some goals. I haven't mentioned how much I love teaching, but I've been teaching for years, workshops and retreats. And my top goals are to make cohesive work, which I'm proud of. Y'all might have noticed that cohesive work is a challenge for me as I dart around between multiple groups. Another goal is to partner with high-end retreats and art travel companies in upcoming years. And then a third one is museum and gallery introductions and pitches. Let's see. Yep, that's it. This was a final slide in case there was extra time, but I think we should just wrap it up here. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Thanks for listening.
Congrats.
Yay.
Okay, what was the time? Woo, I need to breathe.
6:20.
6:20? Darn it, when I practiced it was 5:45. It's so tempting to just add a little bit each slide.
You also did introduction, so that's very good for like a classroom style, like in a group. Maybe for social media, it's not like a PowerPoint presentation. It's more like a YouTube video or short video format. So maybe that when you actually record the video, you don't need to do the, I will talk about this, and that. So you save yourself at least 30 seconds.
Yep.
Right. To reduce. So we're thinking where to cut because, it's.
Yep. That's good to know.
I think it's much better than yesterday. Yesterday was also a lot longer. And also you mentioned about the injury and stuff. it also explains why you take a turn from different, one media to another, and also it's making people feel very relatable because everybody have injuries at certain point in their life, and it's like it's making you more human, right? Like I think it's also a it's a true thing, a true event, a life-changing event in your life, and it's this was not mentioned yesterday, I believe. So it's it's good that you mentioned it.
Thank you. Thanks.
I want to say I really enjoy your presentation, Laura. Let me so I love all the details, but there's two things I noticed. The first thing is that I think some of the slides, the format of PechaKucha is meant for less images, less words on each page. So some of the pages I do love seeing all the varieties, but I do think that you can concise it down, make it less images, and even take out words because you're already saying the words. Like as an audience, I'm listening to you, I'm reading the words, I'm looking at the pictures. There's three things going on in 20 seconds. So the words, I think you can take it off because I'm listening that you talking about it, which is more important than me reading.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing is that I think I love that you're going through different categories and buckets and different inspirations of like different time period, and I can see how you evolve. Like that's really good. I think it would help it a lot in your story if there's one consistent thing that chains everything together.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, you just nailed like basically the whole problem I'm dealing with or struggling that I've created, which is a lack of continuity. Like I just have 3 or 4 or 5 groups of work that don't necessarily. I mean, there are connections, but it's hard to find them.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't have to be directly related to the work. It could just be the connection between all of them. It's, for example, I'm making this up. Oh, my husband mentioned, or like, that all these connections because I live in Kansas. Oh, sorry, Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yeah,
Arkansas. That's how my perspective of being a person in Arkansas, for example. I'm just totally making this up, okay? And that might or might not have anything to do with your work, but it's a connection point. Like, and that would help me as an audience. That would help me digest your story a lot better, I think.
Taaye's story is the material. Well, there are 2 stories I can see. One is that migrating person of multicultural background, and also the materialism, the material. I don't know how to say that, but yes, the fact that designer, craft person working with hands, there's a lot of like material work and study. So that's the central line in the work, and the personal line is the migrating Asian woman traveling through the world. And maybe you can find your personal story with like one tagline. It doesn't have to be linked with work. If links with work, it's great. If it doesn't, at least it's a personal story which people can replicate. Like I tell, for example, now my friend here in the Chinese exhibition asked me, so your people who are online, what are they? I said there's Taaye, there's Anna, there's Laura, and they will say, who are they? What they do? So I can use one sentence to say each person. Oh, like Anna does mini golf, and Laura does feminist art, and Taaye is migrating artist from Asia, now rediscovering the Asian technique and identity. Like there is like one sentence can say quickly for remembering, right? So you have to find that one sentence that is about the story of you. It can be a woman, right? I mean, woman is like half the population is woman, so it's a bit like I can say, except for my husband, everybody's a woman, right? Like it has to stand out. But yeah, Asian woman living everywhere in the world is one thing, at least that's like distinctive from just a regular woman, right? Like, yeah.
I have a question. Oh, go ahead, Taaye.
Oh, I was gonna say, sometimes if you don't know what that thread that is chaining all your work is, it helps you. For example, you mentioned that you work with a gallery in Barbados or Bahamas. Bahamas. Start with a B. They do marketing work for you, right? They have marketing pamphlets, right? So it helps look through those pamphlets at how other people talk about your work, and then you can like steal words from them because you're not you know, like you're not working as a marketing person. They are working for you as marketing. So it's like, oh, that word, I didn't know that. Thank you. I'm gonna take that and include that in my next presentation.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you. That's a good idea to kind of use, like, reflect on, like, a mirror. Although I have a question based on what you both just what you and Mo just suggested. There is a through line, but I didn't really know if I should mention it. And also time wise, I was like, okay, just don't even go there. But the through line is the extreme sexism and conservatism that I've grown up in.
I think that's excellent.
I do too.
So I'm going to have to really recraft the things for the timing, because that is like, I mean, what I didn't tell y'all on the first, I'm not going to go through every slide and say, this is what I left out. That'll take forever. But for example, on this topic, what I didn't tell y'all on the first slide or two was that I minored in art in college. I did say that, but I was told I had to be a doctor or a lawyer, and anything else was a failure of a life. Like, it was pretty, and that I was also told I had to get married by a certain age, and if I didn't, I was a failure. And I was told, so I grew up in this super sexist conservative environment, and that keeps coming back in the work. It probably explains why when Donald Trump ran for president, I was like, God dang it, you know, like really ignited something in me. So there's all these, there is a through line there. And then sometimes I'll go to work that's not related to sexism as a break from the sexist culture I live in and the concentration in the work. Like, sometimes I just need a break from it, and that's still kind of in some way related to it.
Yeah. So Laura, my impression is also, you have to remember, most people are going to watch this on a phone, and you have too many images. And so I was zooming in, you know, because I'm on a computer, and I was like, but it's too much. And you don't have to tell the whole story. You're going to tell one very clear story. And I think that's what I'm like, Arkansas, that is super conservative, and she's doing really political work. That's amazing to me, because I live in a conservative area and I don't show my political work there. Because
you get it. Yeah.
I think, I mean, I've watched some successful people in my life. They craft their story. They leave out a lot. They actually invent things to make themselves clearer to a public. And so I think simplifying the imagery. I would leave out the Bahamas. You don't, you know, that's great. Don't do that. Just simple, clear feminism. I am up against a lot where I live. And this is how I manage. And this is, you know, it shows how brave you are, actually.
I think it's a great story about fighting feminism. But I think when you mentioned between fighting feminism, you said, if I'm not a doctor and lawyer, my family and my community tells me I'm doomed. No, the fact that you're a born woman, you're doomed. That is how Asian community tells. Okay. So don't even mention doctor or lawyers, because that's like, no, you're a born woman. Oh, there's not that 200 grams between your legs. Doomed. Bad product. Trash it in the bridge. In 1 month, there are more than 30 families dumped their children under that bridge. And there is the documentary about it in China. So that's like, just focus on the human condition, living as a woman, you with a different political idea or different idea about your life, fighting against the current. And that's a very beautiful story, I think. And the fact that you had 2 daughters is very relevant, because you want to fight for a better world for them as well. And the fact that, the first version of the story yesterday, Laura practiced with me. She mentioned also her brother, you know, her husband, like a whole family, not cousins, but
there was even more.
There was even more.
Like, and then
I'm like, husband, no, but that's brother. Okay,
well,
that's brother.
Taaye, you wanted to say something?
Oh, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with what Mo and Anna were saying. And I think, like, to add on to what they were saying, you begin your presentation by telling me, oh, what year you went into college, how many family, where you travel as a family. Those are good information, but like to your presentation, it might or might not be necessary. But what you just told me in 20 seconds, just like right now, like, oh, I actually live in a very conservative background, came up, like someone told me that I have to be a doctor. That is more relevant to me that as an audience, then what year
It can be short.
exactly. Then what year your family traveled to which military base, to what year did you go to get an MFA, blah blah blah. Like I think yeah.
This is super helpful. This is
Yeah.
so helpful. It's actually helpful, like bigger than this whole PechaKucha thing. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
story
and
of your life.
I also do lots of work, lots of different things. But for your story, don't show all that.
Yeah.
Just like choose the two things that are related that, here's my early work, here's how it developed, this is what I'm doing now, and this is my story. I live in Arkansas. Like, ugh.
Just everyone who doesn't know what Arkansas is.
Yeah.
We have the headquarters to KKK, for example.
Yeah.
No, that's true. We do
Yeah.
have the KKK headquarters. up in
Exactly.
Harrison.
Like that gives you a lot of context. So wow, like because not everyone knows that Arkansas is very like I don't know if Mo and Greg, who lives overseas, would know that Arkansas is such a conservative place.
Yeah, and I don't think that people quite realize the impact that quite realize the degree to which that makes somebody's life different than, say, living in Virginia. Yeah, Greg,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, Greg.
No, it's okay. I try the options. Is to tell to Anna is you continue to have Laura is continuing to have a binary approach to her work, like feminist and landscape. I think one point is not mentioning you do it for making money. I think because if you can sell both of them, it's okay, and not the gallery. You agree with Anna. You give too much importance on the gallery in Bahamas. You can tell you are in two directions right now. You can still research about yourself. If it's actually the case, you could tell. You could hide it, but if you really want, we have been discussing that for more. So, but you could tell it, and not justifying that with the fact you need to make money. Everybody does. And then we saw a small cartoon yesterday with Mo. Is there's everybody has characters. They have powers and they spirits. They go to fight people. They go to do things, but then they have their own retreats. They create their world where they can stay and can I finish, and they can rest. So I think you could tell that the first moment of your paintings, if you really want to talk about it, if you want to still be binary on your art approach, is to tell that you go to the front. You are in Arkansas, but then there's a moment you need to come back to a painting that is more meditative, more just about no message and resting.
I like
Feel
that
yourself
approach
as
too.
well. I don't know if it's good. Yeah, I finished.
Thank you. I like that. Thank you.
The thing that you mentioned, it's I think it's very difficult to describe without having seen the cartoon. Basically, it's like a secret place within your mind. It's like your sanctuary, your spirit space that you can be free, and you're the master of that space. Whoever enters that space, you have a say in that space. So it's one's private sanctuary.
Basically, all artists are doing that. They are creating their own inner temple, denying reality. But then, if they are activists, they are going to fight. They take risk. Or some of them, very few activists are taking risks. But so if you go and I think you meet some violence, you meet some problems, then you are resting. And then you do your landscapes.
It's true. It's true. That's all. But those are really good ways to describe it. And that feels exactly accurate with how I feel about my practice. Thank you. Yeah, that's super helpful. And it's funny what we get kind of like attached to on thinking are important parts of our story. But as soon as I hear you all say, you could leave this out, I totally agree. Then I'm like, oh yeah, well, why did I even mention that? So everything I'm hearing makes a lot of sense. But at the time when I was creating it, I was like, oh, I feel compelled to say, this is my source of income. Maybe now I'm like, no, why did I say that?
Yeah,
So,
it's already better. Last version, you were saying, how did you make up enough money to pay your tuition to, go to school? And it's like,
And
everybody
like,
pays the tuition. It's
that.
like, hey, it's your personal finance. What's your bank account number? Like, you don't say that. Right? So,
like nobody really needs to know too much about how you paid for grad school. I think it's interesting that probably I thought that was important because I was told you can't go to art school, you have to go to law school or med school. And it took me like 18 years to finally go back to school. And it was really hard because I had to do all those commissioned paintings and have a job at the university and didn't have help with childcare and work around my young kids' schedules. And that history that's kind of in my thinking is important to me, but doesn't need to be in the PechaKucha. But that's, and now that's kind of obvious to me. So thank you.
Yeah. You go.
I think there are different ways on how to approach PechaKucha. So I was recently in a PechaKucha sessions with, in a formal presentation hall. So, and it was a hall of like different successful people presenting PechaKucha to me. And they all took different approach of how to present the PechaKucha. So I think what we mentioned to you, like threading your art together with feminism, conservatism, it's just one way to approach it. Another way to approach it is that if you want to say, okay, my work is also about failing and how to come back from it, how to stand up from how to be resilient, how to stand up from failing. Then what you just told us about how you make your money, what your bank account number is, how your Bahamas salary, how you pay your college makes sense in that story. So those details will make sense in that scope of the story. It doesn't make sense in the feminism and conservatism because it's too much. But in another way to approach your PechaKucha is, this is how I'm a woman, I'm Laura, I struggle, F the system, I have to pay my own money to do my MFA. This is how I pay my money. I was able to stand up on my own feet. I did not come from a wealthy New York family, blah, blah, blah. Then those details make sense.
That is a really good point. That's a really, really good point. It's very astute observation.
Exactly what I was about to say. I have a feeling that maybe she would say the same. It's like, you can do the underdog. Nobody believed in me, but I believed in myself and fought very hard and succeeded because I was able to make a living now as an artist. And nobody believed in me and everybody was against me. But this is one of the most typical story of an artist. This type of narrative I have heard maybe over 100 times. Like a lot of artists, say, oh, I'm running this little art center, little art business, like even my friends there over the room, like nobody in my community was ever an artist. From they're usually Chinese restaurant owners, Chinese store owners, like bazaar owners. And she's like, I'm the only artist in my entire family, and I'm very proud to be able to even be here and not, successful or not, just make a living and be here. Sustaining oneself is like a success. And this is a very typical story. So I think the other story of conservative Tang being a bold activist is a better story, more touching story. But would you want to go there because you're going to make enemies, right? So that's like a different thing. So
I just want to add on to what Mo was saying. There are different interesting story, but there's interesting story that resonate with different people. So there's no stories that are more interesting than the others. So it's what matters how you want to present your story, right? What you want your audience to take away from this presentation. I remember in the PechaKucha presentation that I was in, there were about 12 people. And 11 of them were telling the story, like one story or one lesson they learned from their life, right? So It could be feminisms, it could be conservatisms, it could be I'm the underdog, whatever. But there's only one person that I remember, because there were so many lessons that I like heard. I was like, okay, another one. Okay, you were hard. Okay, whatever. The only person that I remember was a Filipino woman. She was talking about how passionate she is with Filipino fables or folklores. And I was like, wow, that's very refreshing. Some not struggles anymore. So that left a impression on me, because it's not about, oh, I was so hard, my life was so bitchy to me, blah blah blah. It was about passion, and that's something very refreshing. So that what I'm trying to say is, there's no better or worse story. There's only how you want your audience to remember you.
And I think what I'm hearing you all say with great, good, varied examples is that we each have to decide, what do we want to achieve with this? Like, what story are we going to share that ties to where we want to go as an artist, or what we want to achieve, and really thinking about that. In my wildest dreams, what would happen with this PechaKucha? Well, then that helps make that choice of, what am I going to decide to share? And Greg and I have talked a lot about really leaning into the conservative, sexist, really personal, some dark stuff. And there's just so many pros and cons to that. And one is what Mo just mentioned, like, you're going to be under fire, which I have been for many years for the work that I make, even not revealing a lot of dark personal stuff from my family and community. But, so I have to really decide, like, is that who I want to be? And am I feeling like I'm going to be able to handle the feedback, the quote feedback or pushback or kind of punishment for that? And then the other thing about that approach is that it's negative. And so that's to Taaye's point, which is like, the woman talking about Filipino fables stood out to you. It was refreshing. It was positive. And that doesn't mean we all need to be Pollyanna positive all the time. But like Greg has talked to me about, well, what do you learn? Like, what are you learning from this? Like, what are some solutions to the sexist environment that you're in? What are some solutions to the things how can you collaborate with people in a way that's empowering, that's effective, that causes change in your community? Those things are pretty hard to figure out. Like, these solutions, these problems are really great and hard to solve. But those are just kind of things to think about, like how to be truthful about something negative, but not be victim-y and pull people into a really dark, negative space where people are like, ugh, I don't know that I want to hear any more about that. And that's been a fine line. And that's part of the reason I'm really enjoying, you probably don't remember it because I showed so much work, but where I'm really enjoying this most recent work that combines what I hope are beautiful scenes or drawings or floral patterns with language. So the work itself is more palpable. It's easier to look at. It's easier to enjoy. There's a little bit of comedy, a little poking fun, even though the topics are kind of serious and can be dark. And so, like, there was a piece that said, you should smile more, or another piece that said, stop interrupting me. One piece said, are you told to be quiet? But they're presented in this kind of Trojan horse way that's supposed to be like, I want to see that. Oh, that's thought-provoking, but not, I've been bludgeoned over the head by this negative artist. So thank y'all.
You guys, I got to go.
Yeah.
It's lovely to see everybody, and I look forward to it.
And congratulations again.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
That is so wonderful, and so happy for you.
Thank you. But anyway, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, no.
Thank
See you
you.
next time. Bye.
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 Bye.